Everybody, it's Atalanta here. Today's guest is Ginger Fae. Now, Ginger has been working with tarot cards for over 30 years, and she's been working with spirit guides for even longer. So we've got her here today to go over what are spirit guides, where do they come from, how do you get in touch with them, and so on. If you want to get in touch with Ginger, you can always get her on her Etsy shop. That's Ginger Fae Tarot. Or you can get her on her YouTube channel where she's got a series called Paranormal Investigation. It is a series where they go around to scary, haunted places and they get in touch with spirits through tarot cards. So they even did the Amityville house. It's a pretty cool show. Anyway, let's go ahead and introduce her and see how she's doing today. Hey, Ginger, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. Why don't you tell everybody about yourself?
Hi, I'm Ginger Fae. I am a tarot reader and a blooming psychic medium. I've been reading tarot for about 30 years, and for about 10 years, I've been studying and working with spirit guides and coming into my gift there.
Well, now that's what we're here for. That's a very interesting topic that is, a lot of people don't understand what a spirit guide is exactly. I know I kind of just recently found out that spirit guides are a lot more than what I thought they were. Can you kind of explain that a little bit? What exactly is a spirit guide?
Yeah, that's a hard to put words to that. Spirit guides can be loved ones who've passed. They can be people who you've known in past lives. They can be ancestors. And angels are also considered spirit guides. So they're just the divine energies that are surrounding us.
Okay, I've also heard, I don't know if this is true, but I've also heard that like elements can be spirit guides or aliens can be spirit guides. Is that true, or is that just some belief
Oh,
systems or
elemental beings. I believe they can be guides. They might not be labeled spirit guide, but elemental beings such as the Fae or gnomes and trolls. Maybe some people believe in those, and then otherworldly beings. I have a friend who channels otherworldly beings, and some of them are her guides. So yeah, spectral beings could also
okay,
be.
that's really cool. So all right, so how long have you been doing this? How did you find out about it? I mean, did you discover it when you were little? Is it something you just got interested in and you learned it? Is it a natural ability? How did you even
Right.
discover it?
Well, I know that when I was little, I wished I Dream of Jeannie. I wish I had magic within me, and then of course Bewitched came around. But as I got older, I felt like I could predict things, or if I thought of something, it would happen. But it wasn't until my um my 40s, I think. I went to a class for tarot, and I had already been doing tarot for about 20 years. And the medium there, she had asked me, well, she said, "You like to look around your house and think it's haunted." And I said, "Well, I know my house is haunted." And she goes, "Your house isn't haunted, it's you. You're a natural medium, and they're drawn to you because they want to communicate with you," which would have explained a lot of noises and voices that I would hear. And
To get in
so,
touch with your spirit guides, do you have to have like a natural ability? Can anybody do it? Are you born with it? How does that work?
from all the studies that I've done and heard about, we all have spirit guides. They're all around us, and they're wanting to help us, but we have to ask for their help. And when we start talking to them, we will find little signs and synchronicities that happen that will validate the communication. Now, we can't always hear Some people are gifted with clairaudience, that they could hear their guides. I can hear spirits, but I can't hear my spirit guides. When they talk to me, it's like my thought is louder. It's hard to describe. Um, so the more you work with them, the more you'll find, like I realized when I was really right or true about, if I'm doing a tarot reading, I would get tingling sensations. And in working with that, I could then recognize when a spirit guide was with me. And they communicate, like if an answer was yes, I would have tingling over here. If an answer was no, I would get like a slight pressure on my right temple. So I had a friend who says, ask for what you want your yes or no's to be and work with that. And so that'd be like the first step.
Okay, so now I have a question. I don't know if I can word it correctly. Um, so you have spirits and spirit guides, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you're trying to figure out
Who's
which
who?
or which. Okay. So the spirits, are they guides for other people? In other words, do all spirits, are they all guides for different people? It's just that they may not be your guide. Does this make sense what I'm asking?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So is that the way that works, or are there some spirits that aren't guides at all?
Correct. I think some spirits, like I was told I have two spirits in my home. I was also told I had spirit highways, so I used to have more visitors until I had somebody come and do a clearing, and I'm sure she didn't mean to, but she took away my spiritual highway. So I was told I had a spirit that belongs to me, meaning it's an ancestor. And I have another spirit that she said doesn't belong to me, which meant she belonged either to the property, or the home. And my home is newly built. So just down the road from me, like a 5-minute walk, is a family cemetery from the 1800s. And I believe, and I know it's a little girl, maybe when I went to visit it, she followed me home. But I believe she was the one who said, when I said, this can't be real. And she said, but I thought we were real.
Yeah.
So spirits are, some spirits are spectral beings who are in between, the veil, so to speak. Some don't know they've passed on, or some would prefer to stay here, so they've chosen not to go into the light. Where spirit guides and angels are ever present, they're omnipresent. So I was told they're omnipresent, as in like the archangels, they're around you, they're around me, they can be everywhere at one time.
Okay. That makes
Spirits cannot.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Spirits.
So how does one contact or get in touch with their spirit guides, work with I'm sure I'm jumping ahead a little bit. I guess the first step would be to realize that you have them, but how do you get in contact with your spirit guides? And how do you know if they're angels or I mean, I guess these are two questions, but how to get in touch with them? How do you know if they're angels or, ancestors or spirits? How do you tell the difference?
Yeah, I'm not too sure how I would differentiate them. Um, but when I personally want to communicate with mine, now that I know how, um, you know, I first start by grounding myself, which would mean, if you know anything about your chakra centers, you have a grounding cord at your root chakra, and you just visualize that down to through the earth, down to the core. And I believe grounding is very important, because then you don't, if you then you don't get lost in the universe.
Side note, everybody,
Because some
Google
people
grounding.
ask,
Google
yeah,
grounding. Side note.
some people might accidentally go astro traveling, and they wouldn't find the their way home. So, and then I ask for my vibrational energy to be raised, because the higher your frequency is, the better you have a chance of communicating, but the communication is both ways. Whereas, me, a lot of times I'm just talking to the air, and I don't always hear anything back. But let's see if I'm jumping. You just call them in. Every morning when I get up, I do what I call a driving meditation. When I'm in my driveway, I ask Archangels Michael and Raphael to watch over my sons for me and watch over me for them. We all know Archangel Michael is a protector, but Raphael is also the protector of travelers. And my sons are traveling each and every day as well. So, and there's crazy people out there. And then when I turn the corner, I drive slowly because I have a lot of deer that cross in front of me. And when I feel I've got that safe haven with the trees, then I call in and I welcome them to my day. And I ask for guidance through the day with messages for my highest good. And then I also ask for only true messages to come through and make them recognizable to me. So that's a start. And then just little by little, like I said, the synchronicities happen.
Well, what about something that's like profound, something that just stuck with you that you'll never forget just happened?
Um, yes, one time I was really ill, and I thought I had the flu. And this will be too much information, but my periods were very heavy for a couple months. So I work for a school district, and I was going to school, and I was feeling weaker and weaker. And a colleague says, you need to go to the doctor. I said, I know, I just have that weird summer flu everybody's getting. So I went to the doctor. I told him about my periods and stuff. He goes, well, you are looking a little pale. Let me take some blood work and stuff. So the next morning, I was so weak, I barely got out of the shower and just dropped to the floor. And I called in work, of course. And I sent my boys off to school, and I thought, let me have some breakfast and just sleep all day. I'm pretty sure it's the flu. And as soon as I laid down, I hear in my thoughts a very loud, don't fall asleep. And now I am connected with my guides now. I just sat up and I said, what's wrong with me? And again, I hear, don't fall asleep. And within less than 10 minutes, the phone rang, and it was the doctor's office saying, I need you to go to the emergency room. You have to have a blood transfusion. And the doctor said I had lost 2/3 blood volume out of my body. And I didn't say what happened as far as hearing those voices. I just said I was about ready to have a nap before the phone rang. What would have happened? And the doctor said I would not have woken up, that the only blood I had was in my heart. And had I rested, the heartbeat would have rested and I wouldn't have made it.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah.
Wow. That's awful. Well, thank goodness for spirit guides, right?
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
I'm glad that they were there. So, well, I hate to do this because we just kind of got started, but we are out of time, and I want to get your information out there because I know for a fact that your channel is fantastic. I've already checked it out. I've already been stalking you, so I know it is good. And so I'd like for you to go ahead and tell everyone, first of all, how can they get in touch with you for your tarot? Second of all, your YouTube channel, let's put that out there because it's super interesting. And yeah, so go ahead and let everybody know.
Yeah, my YouTube channel is Ginger Fae Tarot and Divine Musings. I haven't quite, well, I've done live readings, but not solo readings. I'll have guests on and do live readings. And I also started a series called Paranormal Investigations. And I have a guest who has a haunted place in mind, whether they lived there or know of it. And we use the tarot to investigate the energies of it. It's really interesting. And then I just opened up an Etsy shop, Ginger Fae Tarot, and I'm selling readings through there. So that's a new adventure I've just embarked on.
Okay, now what was that called again on Etsy?
Ginger Fae Tarot.
Ginger Fae Tarot. Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I so appreciate it and love to have you back again. That way we
Absolutely.
can kind of go a little bit more in depth about it, exactly maybe how to do it. I don't know, demonstrate something like that, but we'd love to
Oh,
have you
sure.
back. Okay,
Thank
great.
you.
Well, thank you so much and blessed
Okay.
be.
Fae blessings, everyone.
Okay, guys, it's time for the product review. So today's product is going to be the Hoodoo Tarot, and it's by Tanya Lee McGiller, and it is a 78 card deck. It's in this box right here, and it has all of the suits, which are named slightly differently. We have got knives. We have got baskets. We have got sticks. And we have coins. And of course, we have the major arcana. So Southern Hoodoo was created back during the slave trade. When the Africans were brought over here and they could not practice their faith, they created a faith over here where they had to use what was available to them, roots, herbs, things like that. So this deck celebrates that. There's photos and pictures of African scenes. There are pictures on it of famous African Americans. It's just a beautiful little deck. The only thing that I say about it is it does not come with a book. You have to go online to download a book, and it's very hard to find. It does give you information as a QR code on the back of the box that tells you where to go get the book, but it is hard download to find. The writing is really tiny back here. So I recommend the deck if you are an experienced tarot reader. I do not recommend it at all if you are not experienced. And when I say experienced, I mean pretty experienced, because the imagery is definitely a lot different in it. Like I said, it's a small deck. It's a little bit hard to read. It's beautiful though. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's great for the advanced diviner. There's no doubt about it. It's great for your ancestral altar. If you have an ancestral altar, perfect for that. Perfect for that. Or if you're going to do work with your ancestors and you're going to do yes and no questions and you want to use a deck for that, this is the deck to go for. This is the go-to deck for that. So highly recommend it for that. Beginner tarot though, no, please don't think that you're going to be able to work with it. It's just a little too difficult for that. But yes, it has many purposes. So just keep that in mind. It is once again, it is called the Hoodoo Tarot, and it is by I can't pronounce it, Tana Lee McKiller, and it's a 78 card deck, and here it is. So there you go. Okay, this next segment of the show is Dear Atalanta. This is where the public, the audience writes in and I answer questions that you may have. So if you have a question, you can email it to me at atalanta@bonewitch.com. That's ATALANTA at bonewitch.com. So let's get on to the first question. Dear Atalanta, are spells real? Do they really work? Yes, they do. Spells are real. Now, they're not like what you see on television where you have a wand and you go poof. Doesn't work that way. But spells are real. They're very, very similar to what you do Christians do in church. They're just like a prayer. You go in and you pray to your higher power. Well, we basically do our spell to our higher power or to a certain god or goddess. Now, we may add something different because we believe that everything gives off energy. We may add something to add to the spell, like a crystal or some herbs or objects and things like that. But they're basically the same thing. So spells take on a life of their own, and we do something called feeding the spell, which makes it stronger. While the spell is working, we may add stuff to it. We may go put our intentions to it, but the spell does work and take place. Now, if the universe does not see fit to work the spell, then no, it will not work. It will not work. It doesn't make you a weak witch or anything like that, but it just means that the universe was not ready to give you that of which you asked for at that time. And we have to be careful with how we word things. Words are power. Now, this is for both. This is for everyone. It's not just for pagans. It's for everyone. You have to be very careful. Words have power. I want you to think about something for a minute. I heard this. Somebody told me this one time. Spells have power. Words have power. Prayers have power. Let's go back over that again. Words have power. That's why you have spelling. Spelling. So, anyway, let's go to the next one. Okay, we'll do this one. This one's always getting mixed up. Dear Atalanta, are pentacles and pentagrams the same? Pentacles and pentagrams get interchanged all the time, and they are not the same. Okay, I know that they're used the same way when people talk, but they are not the same. Now, there's not a huge difference in them, but there is definitely a difference. Okay, the pentacle is the five-pointed star, like how you would get, when you're in kindergarten and you would get a star on your forehead when you were being good. The five-pointed star is the pentacle with a circle with it, a circle around it. That's a pentacle. Okay, the pentagram is the five-pointed star, the circle. The difference. Now, in both of them, the star, the points represent the different elements. Okay, earth, fire, water, air, spirit. On both of them. Another little piece of information that's a misconception out there is that the inverted pentacle and pentagram is evil and means Satan worship and the devil. Yes, they do use, those traditions do use our pentacle and pentagram. However, that is not how it first started out, and that is not what it was ever intended to be used for. It actually is meant to be used as the second degree high priestess symbol. So, when seeing that, if you see that on a woman, that is a representation of her second degree priestess. Or it could be her stealing it and using it as Satanism. Who knows? But anyway, just wanted to clear that up. It's not always has to do with something evil. It could be something that an accomplishment that a female has done. So I just wanted to clear that up. So now you know the difference between a pentacle and a pentagram. And you know that the points represent the elements. So anyway, I thank you so much. If you want to write into me, once again, that email address is Atalanta, ATALANTA, at bonewitch.com. Thank you. Well, it's that time again. I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in and watching the show. And I want to say a special thanks to Ginger Fae for coming on here and teaching us a little bit about spirit guides and how to get in touch with them. Keep your eyes open because in the next 2 weeks, we're going to have another guest, and I will be posting that on my Facebook page, Atalanta Moonfire. So you'll be knowing who's coming on the show. Also, I'll be posting it on my TikTok, Atalanta Moonfire. That's ATALANTA Moonfire, Moonfire. And for all those that want to write in to Dear Atalanta, it is Atalanta, Atalanta at bonewitch.com. So I will see you in 2 weeks. Blessed be.